Before we begin, thank you very much to I'm Armada Hotshot and Sideswipe's #1 fan, I mean it, for joining the Patreon campaign. It's the most common shout out. It's not someone wanting to hear their name on a video. It is someone wanting me to say the things I would never normally say. And they always end with, no, I mean it this time. For realsies, guys. Can't make me mean it. You can pay me to say it, but you can't make me mean it. But thank you very much for the contribution. Thank you very much for helping out the channel. It does keep me doing this daily content thing every single day for you guys. I appreciate the support. And we now move on. So today is technically a Patreon request, but there's a few caveats here. Number one, it's my birthday, so I kind of just want to do whatever I want today. And I kind of felt like talking Kamen Rider anyway. So I had this request that wanted me to do final forms as a tier list. The problem is they also wanted me to include all of the extra final forms that came in movies, specials, etc. after the fact. They wanted a few extras thrown in for good measure, and I'm like, this is too much. This is way too much. And this could potentially include even like secondary riders, their final forms. Like, I can't do a 3-hour tier list. I can't. None of us would make it through it. So for now, I have to abbreviate this. We're doing the main Kamen Rider's final forms. Okay? We're just all of those. If a main Kamen Rider had a final form, it's in this list. And we're using the official final forms, not any of the goofy stuff that they did exclusively for movies and like web videos. It is just the official final form for everybody. So, all of that said, if this goes over well, we will do another one and probably cover the rest of that request. For now, I got to keep it a little bit more limited, and we are going to just go off and begin our critique. This is going to revolve mostly around aesthetic and theme. We're not going to factor in power scaling here, because frankly, Omazeo ruined all power scaling arguments, and I hate Omazeo for it. But let's just begin with Agito, and this is just how it came up. I just randomly threw them in a folder, and whatever order they went in, that's the order we're talking about them in. So Agito came up first, and it's Shining. Shining works best when you remember that it is a purified version of Burning. And in that, it's fine. I like how ornate it is. I like how stark the red and silver is compared to the gold of his base form. I will take it's a little bit of issue with the fact that that he's still using like the red for the helmet and all that, because that's a little bit too close to his flame form. Well, not in the helmet, but in the armor rather. Like, I wish it would have avoided the red and done something a little bit different color wise. It's a little bit plain. It's a little bit plain. Obviously, early Heisei era, it's not going to be as like dazzling as some of the other forms are. But I felt like they could have done better, because there are designs in Agito, like the gills in G3X, I think are way more detailed and a little bit more interesting. So I think it could have been better. Now, Hyper Kabuto. This one, I'm not... It's really just a new chest guard and a slightly upgraded horn on his helmet. There really isn't much to his final form look. The most design-wise comes from the additional parts from his forearms and shins that fold out extra fins, the chest opening up, the wings coming out the back, and some of that is fine. Some of it looks real silly. I feel like every time he pulls those little fins out of his forearms and shins, I think he's going swimming. I don't like that. I think it's kind of weak. I think it's kind of weak as a final form. I think they could have done a lot better on that one. I like Hyper Kabuto as a power set, and like, again, yeah, it's just kind of like the base form a little bit different. We're going to see a bunch of those. In fact, we have one right now with Kamen Rider 02. It's a natural evolution, right? Especially since they are viewing this more as like an executive would. An executive would see the next version of a product as just from from version 1 to version 2. In that, this makes total sense. Again, I wish it just did a little bit more. This is the portion of the Reiwa era that really felt like the goal was to create more simplified ultimate forms that were more akin to what they looked like in their base form. And I don't think it's the right direction because it doesn't feel like this form is all that special, you know? It just kind of feels like it could have been an alternate design for his original base form if someone had just sketched things out for a little bit longer. I mean, I don't hate it. I don't hate the overall look. The theming, I will put it lower end of retail release. I'll keep it out of the bargain bin because it is themed very well for its series. So, let's talk Blade King. Now we're getting into the gold ultimates, and there's going to be a bunch of those. I like this overall design. The gold and the blue is a very royal, regal looking color scheme. Works really well for, you know, a form named King. But at the same time, it's very detailed. It's very ornate. I don't think it gets too far away from the original Blade design. And I like how they have handled it. It's one of those, like, I'm going to throw all of my powers into one armor kind of looks. But it's not doing it in a bad way. You have some ornate designs going on here. You have this like little sculpted details of the cards at various points in the armor, but they're not the focal point, right? And it's more toward the subtle, and it's kept small, so it's not overwhelming. Like the overall design is still like doing its own thing. I really like King form. I don't think it's I can put it at a premium. I don't think it like amazes me, but I do think it is a really good evolution for the design. I do think it is where it needs to be. I do like this one. Build Genius is a little bit controversial. So on the one hand, I do like it. I like the white armor and the silver undersuit. I do like how it's still keeping that the more diagonal kind of like red and blue color hue shift between the suits. I like the rainbow look that the overall design has. It's the bottles, right? It's the fact that he's just got a ton of bottles plugged into him at the moment. He looks like Kamen Rider's answer to Bane. And I completely get that. Some of it is sillier than others, like seeing the bottles make up part of the visor makes it look like they're shooting off like they put Mentos in them. So yeah, there's some silliness to this one. I do think I enjoy it overall though. I think overall, if the bottles are a bit much, it'll keep me from putting it like too high, but I do like the overall like color scheme of it, and I like the overall like theme of it. It's another one of those all of my powers at once, and maybe that many bottles all at the same time is a little much. But I do think some positives outweigh some negatives, at the very least for me to put it where it goes there. Oh, talk about controversial. Talk about controversial. Let's talk Decade Complete, shall we? So, I do like the silver with a hit of hot pink. I think making the pink pop like that in comparison to his original design does create this really striking look to it. I do overall like it. I will admit, the cards across the chest I think could have been done better. I would have preferred just the emblems across the chest, so it all maintains like a singular color. And I understand what it's going for. It's supposed, like from one side to the next, it's supposed to look like a strip of film with all the different photos going across. And in that, it makes sense. It's the card on the helmet, I think, that kills it for everyone. It's kind of silly to have a card of himself, even though I get the idea that it's creating this infinity tunnel. And that's the whole idea behind that. But I like it more than a lot of people do. Because I get what the design motif is going for, that hit of hot pink across the black and silver, I do think it looks like a more serious, more like a version of Decade with more attitude, which is what I think a final form like his should have had. I'm not going to put it terribly high. We're going to stack the retail releases here for a hot minute, okay? But no, I like it better than most people do. Let's put it like that. Den-O Liner. Now, Den-O Liner is going to start a trend of designs that I think fail to outweigh the designs that came before them. And we'll get into a few of those a little bit later on. But for now, suffice to say, I think Climax looks way cooler and would have made more sense as a final form than Liner does. Liner, theme-wise, works because it feels like an alternate Den-O that is now just Ryutaro himself taking control of the actual powers and the identity of Den-O, apart from like the Imagin who usually control him, because everyone else, every other form is the Imagin. This is him. This is the actual guy. And in that, it should go back to something a little bit more basic to show that the Imagin are not running the show here and that he is kind of going off on his own in a weird way. So theme-wise, it works. Design-wise, it just doesn't look as cool as... It just doesn't look as good as Climax does. It doesn't look as potent or powerful. Yeah, I'm not crazy about... I'm not crazy about Liner. I'm not crazy about Liner. Okay, now, here's another one. Tridoron. This one is... It's another one of those forms. It's like, let's take the base form and we'll just soup it up a little bit. But I think this one works a lot better than those usually do. I think creating this color identity for Drive with these like stark red and black separations on his base form makes this one stand out a lot more when you turn that base suit red and make him look a lot more solid. Now you've only got the black coming off the left arm, which is like the main attack arm, so that kind of makes sense. I like that the helmet has a lot more layers to it now. I can still see Drive in there, but it's definitely like a much sharper, much more like fierce looking helmet going on. And the little aspects of Tridoron that have survived, you know, the wheels, the headlights, and the helmet, he does have this interesting look to him. I like it overall as a power-up of the base form, that kind of ultimate form. I think it works really, really well, and I do like the overall look on him. I don't think he impresses me as much as King, but I do really like this as a design. Now, Hyper Muteki. I do take issue with how many ultimate forms, I should say final forms, because we're going to get into a couple of ultimates. I got sick of gold for final forms for a hot minute. Because even forms that did not have a gold color to their final form, even those got into like the movies, like Double and Wizard, and they just threw gold in there instead to go like, oh, it's even better now. No, it's not. I'm sick of gold. That said, I really freaking like Hyper Muteki. I mean, theming wise, yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of 90s extreme to the overall design. I like the sharp shoulder pauldrons. I like the overall aesthetic of the gold here. I really like the little hits of color going through like the base suit to just kind of continue like the 90s pop. I like that too. And yeah, the Super Saiyan 3 hair too. I kind of like that. Like, it is a ridiculous form, and I might even say that, like, theming-wise, it might be going off the rails just a little bit, because it's hard to find video game in there anymore. If I think of this as the inspiration is the invincibility from games like Super Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog, then that hair is going to equate to, like, the after images or the sparkles they leave behind when they're in those forms. In that, I can kind of see some justification. I'm basically trying to, like, I'm trying to gas you up into letting me just put him up to Holy Grail, because I really like the overall design. Even though I admit theming might have gone a little bit overboard. Alright. Fi's Blaster is another one of those that does, like, the neat little trick of, like, switching up the undersuit to really show a new color to him. But that said, this is another one where if you had left this undersuit black with red lines, would this even look like anything? Like, the armor itself does not look any more special than just a standard FiZ. You know, if anything, again, it looks like it could have been just like an alternate design for FiZ on the drawing board, and then it's just the color of the helmet and the bodysuit that makes him like the final form. Blaster is not terribly impressive to me. I think Blaster's weapon is cooler than his actual main form is. In that, putting down the bargain bin, I think. I haven't put anyone in Flea Market. I do think that they do a good job of making these designs just very, very cool. If I'm putting anyone down in Flea Market, it's going to be in comparison to everything else here. Like, it's still cool. It still looks good. But compared to everything else, like, something had to go all the way down. How do I feel about Cosmic States? It's another one of those all-in-one powers. I do like that it's using color that Forza avoided this whole time in the series. Like, sky blue definitely works for your rocket. I do like that. The button panel for the chest is a little bit much. I don't know, like, I don't know. It's not a very elegant way, because it looks like you stuck a periodic table on his chest. It's not a very elegant way of displaying, like, oh, he can use any of the abilities. Like, I don't know how else you do it, but that's a little bit rough. Everything else on it, I'm pretty much okay about. Like, little wings for shoulder pauldrons is cute. Like, the little wings coming off the helmet, so now his helmet looks like a full rocket. Okay, it's I don't know. It's a little bit cute. It's a little bit cute. I don't think it's fantastic, though. I don't think it's fantastic. I think he's middle of the road. I think it is kind of middle of the road. Now, okay. Kiwami Arms is another one of those suits where I think it's overshadowed by the suit that came before it. Kachidoki is such a cool super form. It's one of the best looking super forms in the franchise. And then it gets replaced with this guy. Now, I understand it's closer to what a Shogun's armor would be. You know, it's, you know, or like an Emperor's armor. You know, it's a lot more ornate. It's not so much meant for combat and battle as it is presentation and looking impressive. Hence why he has so many painted details across the armor. But, frankly, it does feel like a downgrade. It's gotten away from the orange motif completely at this point, because now he's channeling every fruit at once. The issues I've always had with this are weird. Like, the pointed hat in that silver does not look like anything interesting. It looks like there's a funnel stuck to his helmet, and I don't like the look of it. I also don't like that the undersuit has this, like, a white with black striping, and that's on his shoulder pauldrons too. It's very, it kind of gives me sunflower vibes. Like, it always gives me vibes of sunflower seeds. And in this show, those are the lowest tier lock seed. So I feel like it's a misstep to invoke in his final design, even by accident. I don't know. I'm not big on this one. I'm really not big on this one. I don't know. It's just, I get the inspiration level behind it. I get the inspiration behind it. I just don't think it conveys very well. Like, I think it could have been conveyed a lot better. I think there would have been other ways of taking, like, a final form Gaim and making it feel a little bit more like Gaim, you know? Okay. So this is where we get into, like, you should know by now, I'm not big on Gav. Yes, I understand the story is amazing. I cannot get past the aesthetic. I'm sorry. It just rubs me in all the wrong ways. His final form, Master, is basically, again, his standard original form, but just upgraded and improved. But I do think it does it on a bit of a better level than I would normally grade on here. I will admit, base form Gov, I actually do like the look of, and probably because the gummy candy aesthetic is kept to such a minimum in that design. Here you are blending orange and purples and blues. Like, the orange and purples should not go together. Those are not complementary colors in the least. But when you display them here as though they are bursting through the actual armor of the suit and through the belt, okay, I can allow this. I will say, like, it's very shocking, the color contrast, but it doesn't look bad. I think the only bad part is the big orange shoes. I think that was a, pardon the pun, I think that was a misstep. But as an upgrade of the original, like, base form Goth, I don't mind this. I don't mind this. This is one of those, like, final forms where, like, I know there's an alternate version. There's the orange one as well. I went with what is, like, technically, like, the proper final form. So you'll excuse me if I only put one on here. Geats 9. This is okay, so once again, we're in that school of we're going to take the base form and just upgrade it as high as we can. And I do think they do a really good job here. I really think they do a really good job here. I do like the overall design of it. I like the layers to the armor itself. I do like how they've done the midsection to highlight, like, the actual belt here. The look of the helmet's really, really good. The lines of orange going through the white. It's a strong design. This is a really strong design. I really like the look. I do like the nine-tailed cape. Like, one thing I will give Kiwami Arms credit on is that cape. That cape's doing some heavy lifting. But, like, the nine-tailed cape, I think, hits me the same way that I really like the overall look of, like watching the hair on Muteki, just, like, whipping around everywhere. This kind of gives me the same vibe. I don't quite like it as much to, like, holy grail it, but I do think it is an extremely good-looking final form. And in a very similar vein, I don't think I would have caught that unless I saw them back-to-back like that. Okay, so we've got Mugen, Ghost's final form. I have my issues with Ghost. This form is not one of them. I do think this is a very nice looking final form. I do like the glitter to the armor. Like, I do think that gives him a little bit more of this ethereal look. It kind of reminds me of, like, things I would see in, like, Ghostbusters, for instance. Like, it actually, like, plays to the theme. They're like, here's where, like, theme is important. I think it pushes the theme of him being a ghost really, really well, and still depicting it as armor. I also like how the actual, like, upgrade item sits over the driver. So not only does it give you, like, the actual, like, infinity symbol right there, but it also kind of floats over it like a halo. So you're working double duty on the visual there. So yeah, I have my grievances with Ghost, story-wise especially. I don't think design is one of them, at least not for this form. I do like this form a lot. I will give credit where credit's due. When they get it right, they get it right. Even in a show that I don't think they got right. And then, so Rainbow Gotchard, I think, is over-designed. I think they've overdone it here. So the rainbow look is cool. It's one of the reasons why I like the Build Genius form. But here, I think they've thrown in too many places. I don't like the armor hanging off the hips. That feels like it can get in the way of everything. I don't like how giant the shoulder pauldrons are. Like, and here's the thing. I like big shoulder pauldrons on a character. I have my VTuber character, Magnetar, who has characters with large shoulder pauldrons. But not like this. Like, it feels like his shoulders have a look of a boat that's sinking after collapsing in the middle. Like that kind of big shape, like jutting out of the water. Like, it's got that look to it. And then it's just like, yeah, the rainbow, I get it, color everywhere because it's rainbow, but like, it's too much. It's too much. He just looks too busy. So I'm not big on this one. I'm really not big on this one. Man, if I keep putting things out here, like, we don't have anything in the flea market level yet. I have to get more critical. I'm sorry, Kabuto. Your final form is kind of lame. Your final form would be anyone else's super form. I'm putting you down there just so I don't feel bad about not using the spot. All right, what do we got now? Okay, Armed Hibiki is a weird one. So, on one hand, it looks really cool. You're not going to go wrong with black, red, and gold. You're just not. So there's that. But also, I like that this feels like a natural upgrade. Because his, like, mid-season, like, his upgrade form is Kuranai. Like, it's a red, it's basically like Hibiki but red. And that makes this like a very good blend. But that said, it does go to more traditional Kamen Rider aesthetics when the whole thing in Hibiki was it wasn't supposed to be Kamen Rider when they designed it. So it's kind of pulling it back toward traditional Rider aesthetics. You can see that with things like the silver across the mouth, so now it looks like it's got a mouth plate like a traditional helmet. The extra armor especially does play into that. So this kind of gets away, I think, from what makes Hibiki like unique looking, but maybe not too far. Maybe not too far. So based in that, still putting up to premium. I still think it looks really, really good. Yeah, like, I can't take that away. I do think pulling it close, this is like one of those things that tells you, yeah, they really shifted gears midstream. They, like, mid-season, they're like, no, this has to feel more like traditional series. You're gonna be armor now. Oh well. Oh well. So we got that. I like it well enough. I'll put it high on the list. Kiva Emperor. I feel like this one gets a bad rap because it was introduced so early in the series. Then the rumor was always that like it was too heavy because they used real chains. No, they didn't. They didn't. The chains are the same polyurethane as the rest of the armor. They didn't use real chains. That would, like, the weight of the real chains bouncing around during action shots, if that was true, would have broken off so many of the costume bits. The reality was that the base Kiva suit was just really uncomfortable to perform in, probably because of the weight of the upper body, but it might be the weight of the upper body, but also like the asymmetry where like one leg was so much heavier because of the armor on it. But this is cool. I do like this. He's got a cape going for him. And again, he does what he's supposed to do. He looks like a king of the Fangire here. See, if I put my, like, bleh against gold aside, I do think it's not the best shade of gold. I don't know. I think it's, like, a little bit leaning too far into the yellow. Where do you go? You don't look... Yeah, I think you're top of retail. You're not bad, but I don't think you're quite premium level. I don't think you get to Blade King levels of looking cool. Who next? Okay, well, Ultimate Kuga. Okay. Again, you're not going to go wrong on it. It's black with gold detail. This is aesthetically unlike anything else on this list. It's one solid color broken up by thin lines of a secondary color. And it looks incredible. I love how it's detailing and, like, panel lining him in gold, essentially. to where you can see like the individual abs and things. It's really striking. It's really striking, and thematically, when you go through Kuga and you realize why these things are not great, like forms and upgrades in Kuga are not the best of news, that does play into the aesthetic here of like him turning black as he gets stronger actually does kind of play into like the mental mentality of this series a lot. Yeah, he's up to Holy Grail. I think Ultimate Kuga works for that. I think it works really well. O's. All right. What do we do with Puto Terra? I do really like this form. I mean, thematically, it's perfect because, yeah, if you're based on animals, your strongest animal is going to be a T-Rex or, dinosaurs in general. I like how it has added elements from the base forms. Like, it's obviously more armored. It's obviously a lot more powerful. Like, even like little things like the chest emblem has like a lot more extension to it rather than being built into the armor. And again, you were doing that thing where we inverted the color of the base suit to really make it pop, but the silver against the purple looks really, really good. It looks really, really good. This might be biased because I'm rewatching O's right now. Because it might be biased. I do think it's a Holy Grail. I do think this is Holy Grail tier, not only because it's a really cool looking form, it's a very powerful looking form, but thematically it's perfect. I have to give it credit on all three fronts here. It's just, for O's, it's a perfect choice. Okay. Ultimate Revi. You'll excuse me if Vice is not on this list, considering these are the exact same design, just with a different helmet. And this is, again, one of those, we've kind of just taken the base form and jazzed it up a little bit, and I don't think this hits the mark as well. I don't think they've done enough to separate it from its original look. It just kind of feels like they took the base suit and overpainted it a little bit. It doesn't look bad. I like the shock color scheme, the pinks and the blues. It's a very different looking Kamen Rider. I like the balance in the base form better. I don't think this hits the mark for me. I mean, I mean, it's okay. It's okay, but like it's not for me. Let's put it that way. This is a very objective list. Or they're very subjective list, rather, because it's based entirely off of my tastes and aesthetics, how I grade these particular things. So in this case, I'm not all that big on that particular look. It's not the color scheme of it, it's just how they blended it is not doing it for me. Okay, Ryuki Survive. Again, Ryuki is, again, one of those series like Gav, where I know a lot of people love it. I just never interested me. But I will give it credit. Like, I don't mind Survive as a final form. He does look good. Yeah, they've taken, like, that night aesthetic as far as they could with this overall design. It's, again, black, red, and gold. You're not going to miss with black, red, and gold. I do like the elements of Dragretter that gets into the design as well. That does work. I mean, similar to Ghost, I will give it its due when I do think it looks good. Like, I can't take that. I can't take it away from it. When it's well designed, it's well designed, even if it's from a show I'm not particularly fond of. All right, moving on. Speaking of shows I'm not particularly fond of, Cross Dragon is... Okay, so on one hand, I know this is essentially a repaint of his base form with a little bit of extra going on to it, detail-wise. This looks sick. Like, he literally looks like a galaxy walked out of the sky. I can't imagine how many times they had to constantly touch up and redo all the little bits of stars across his armor after every stunt scene. Like, there had to be so many touch-ups to keep this thing looking like it does. I mean, yeah, you got multiple shades you got multiple shades of blue, obviously, the hits of white. I like the silver in the eyes. The silver for the eyes is really striking. No, this is good. This is good. Again, even if it's a show I don't like, I can confess when this is done really, really well. Okay, here's one I threw in for fun. Because technically this is a final form. Like, Stronger was the very first Kamen Rider with a final form. We got to include him, right? With admittedly, they added stripes to his torso and they changed his helmet to silver. Okay. I throw it in for fun because it belongs here, but like, let's be real, like, even in the 70s, they could have done something a little bit different to make him feel a little bit more upgraded rather than just repainting his standard costume. Like, switch some colors up, you know, like, change up the shape of the chest, change up the shape of the helmet. I mean, I put it in flea market only because, yes, I mean, it is what it is, right? It's a product of its time. It's a super low budget show at the time. They're not going to make a brand new suit just for like the few scenes where he charges up. I put it in here because of legacy, but yeah, like there's a lot of limitations to that. There's a lot of limitations to that design. I don't have the heart to put him at the very bottom. I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry to Kabuto. You're going to stay there because your final form's kind of lame. All right. Cyclone Joker Extreme. This one, I think everyone just generally likes. I do love the overall look and vibe of it. It almost makes me wish that he could still form change across the two sides. But I know that's not how that particular Gaia memory works, so it's Cyclone Joker. And we just have to pretend like the other forms don't matter as much anymore. It's a nice look. I like the idea of opening it up and showing like the crystalline center, which kind of conveys like the Gaia library and like that plane a little bit. I do like it overall. I do like it overall. Again, I don't think it's like earth-shattering or anything, but I do like the overall look. I think right there. I think right there. He's in premium, but a little bit on the lower side, maybe. Maybe just a little bit on the lower side. Now, we want to talk pretty. We want to talk like really strong, good-looking Kamen Rider suits that are very much in theme with the series and avoid just throwing gold at the walls. I love Infinity. This is, I'm not even gonna like, I'm not gonna bury the lead here. It's my favorite final form. It absolutely is. The diamond aesthetic is perfect for Wizard's final form. Like, that's absolutely logical. Like, makes all the sense in the world. I love the crystalline and sparkled blue. Like it really does look magical. I like how the helmet has like a crown shape to it. I like the overall looks of the silver. Like, it's gorgeous form. It's an absolutely gorgeous form. I like that they didn't even go to like strictly black for the undersuit either. Like, it's a little bit more gunmetal than the jet black that he normally wears. So even that's got some color pop to it now. Just all around, I think, absolutely gorgeous design. Absolutely gorgeous design. And still, again, looks incredibly powerful, especially in the context of the series. So yeah, took a while to get here, but that's my favorite ultimate form. That's my favorite final form rider right there. But we got a couple more we got to do. Let's talk Grand Zeo. This is going right back to the school of overdone. So on one hand, it's got the same vibe going on as King, right? Because it's got all these sculpted things going across his armor. The thing is, King kept a lot of that toward the sides so that the front visuals of the armor could be their own identity. Here, they put as many facing forward Kamen Riders as they could. And it's just too much. It's over-designed, it's over-detailed. Because it is almost entirely gold, a lot of that is getting washed out, so it's just muddled details all over the place. And he's only the decade thing. He put his own sculpture on his head. So we've got decade completes problem, but worse. I do not like this final form. I do not like that final form. It just like screams over-designed to me. Over-designed, overcomplicated, and color-wise, it's doing nothing interesting. It's just gold on gold on gold with some black, like 3 layers deep. I don't know, it's just dull overall. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And we're going to finish up with our current ultimate form, Zet's X-Dream. Again, this is a good form. Yes, some people really like to point out that whereas like his base form has a lot of vibes of Ichigo, the original Kamen Rider, his final form has vibes of Ultimate Kuga, the very first, final form rider. Or the I guess ultimate form back when, now that we properly express them as ultimates, we're setting stronger aside for this. It's a fantastic looking form. I love the reds and the yellows going into each other. I love that, like the transition and the gradient that you've created across those little lines. He does have some of that Ultimate Kuga going on, where the gold is tracing the bodysuit's designs, but he's also got a little bit more of the green going in there to kind of break up that color a little bit. Like I like the hidden Z's that are like hidden away in that armor's overall shape. Yeah, and again, it's a ferocious looking form. Very ferocious. I hesitate to put him all the way up to like Holy Grail level. Because for a final form, I could do with a little bit more armor. He's not a very heavily armored rider. If you ask me, my favorite form for him is Orderum. That's my favorite Zet's form. But I do really like Extreme as well. So he goes very high on that list. And I believe that is going to do it for this particular rundown. So let me know in the comment section below how I got it wrong and how your favorite final form deserved to be so much higher than where I put it. I'm sure all of you will have all of the opinions on this one. So thank you all for watching. I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.